Today on Still in Canada, it's time to start working and get the electricity to our still. But we have to make it neat and we have to make it pretty. Well, hello everyone. Welcome back to Still in Canada. And this is building weekend. Finally, it's arrived. Finally, we have all the parts in the shop and we can commence our build. What I've got my TIG welder over here all set up, and I had to do a repair on that, so that took a bit of time too, but everything is here now. And first thing I'm going to do is tell you I screwed up. So when I was doing all the math for my heating elements, and as you know, I had two 3800 watt heating elements. As I did the math on this, I know that I need a 12 gauge wire right here, and it's extension cord, but you're going to see me hook this up. I'm going to chop it and hook it up. Because I'm running two of these, when I figured it all out, I need 12 gauge wires to run these two elements, and then I need the 10 gauge wire to run the whole control unit. But when I did the math of these two 3800 240 volt elements, I discovered I have an issue. I was just over 30 amps draw at full power. You know, I was thinking, well, I'm never going to run at full power, but I have to stop and slap myself and say, you can't do that. You have to, after the math is done, you have to come in at under 30 amps for the whole system. So it wasn't a big deal. I now have a spare 3800, which I don't have an issue with that. You know, they're $22, so yeah, no big deal. And what it is, I ran out and I got a 3000. So a 240 volt, 3000 volt. Or 240 volt, 3000 watt. Putting the two together, my total draw comes in around 28 amps max. 28 amps max is perfect, and that will keep me safe at a full run. And once again, that's a lot of amperage in this keg. I will never probably use all that amount. If I run at 50%, maybe even less at most times, I'll be happy, okay? But if I'm doing a cleaning run, or if I'm doing just a stripping run, I can run this keg pretty fast. So we'll get started here. I've got a few things to do. I've got to thread the elements in. But one other thing I do is, once again, I'm using 1.5 TC connection onto the keg, so the clamp's going to go over here. But I really don't like exposed wires, so I have to work on this first. And what I did is I ran out and I got some electrical boxes. Now these are external mounted electrical boxes. I'm going to drill out the back side. I'm going to mount this in, and we'll have this in here, and I'll have a fitting here for the wire to secure on, and it'll be a securing connection. And then it'll be all enclosed and it'll be safe. So I'm going to get on with that, and you'll come back and we'll show you the assembly once I get everything prepared. Alright, so one thing to keep in mind when you're actually in your shop and you start doing some work is to charge your batteries or your drills. It has been a little while since I used my drills, and I do have one in the charger, but that won't be tonight. So I end up having to use the drill press. And what it is, I took our electrical box, and it's just an external surface mounted electric box. I drilled out the backside for a tight fit on my heating element. So I want to actually almost be able to have to thread this in. And here is the finished one. And as you can see, there it is. So let's look over some of the components here. And if this is too far away from the camera, I'll show a quick close-up shot in here. We have the heater element that's pretty much threaded into the box. And then I have the gasket here. Now I put on T-tape, Teflon tape, before I threaded on my sanitary fitting. So that way it's watertight here, and it's so tight against the box that it's nice and watertight here as well. And if we look inside the box, the wiring's in there. So the box is metal. It is grounded. I've got the ground running up into the back here, which pretty much grounds the whole still because it's metal on metal. So we have that ground for the whole still. And then once again, I'm running 220, so I've got my 2 wires into there. Now also I put in a cap on my top so that that's sealed. And on the bottom I put in a strain relief. And it's also a rubber gasket in here, so it's also sealed. So although this isn't waterproof for submersion, it is extremely water resistant. Once I get the cap on here, and there it is there, I'm going to put a little bit of silicone on there when I put that on so that it's a good seal. Then we pretty much, once again, not waterproof, but water resistant and liquid resistant. So if you spill your mash or your boiler pukes or whatever and you have it all over, you're not going to instantly fry yourself. You do have a certain amount of protection. It's not foolproof, but it's a whole lot safer. And then I've got a good run here of my cord, and that's there, and that's going to run to my control box, and with my 20 amp connector on the end. So that is the whole unit pretty much done there. Nice thing about doing it this way is the fact that you can pull this out pretty quick. So if you're going to clean your still, move your still, it's best to get these out of here. Now also, if your mash is has particles into it, you're going to burn them onto the elements. And you're going to want to clean these elements off from time to time, and definitely you're going to be wanting to replace them down the road. So, you know, this element doesn't have the bend into it. It's a straight element. It's fairly simple. So it'll go in through here, and it'll thread on. Now it is a bit tight. There. And I'm going to clean all this off yet. I don't want any dirt in here, but just for assembly's sake, I'm going to throw my seal on. I've seen some people have cut these seals in half. You can do that if you need to. I had a little more thread on my other one than I do on this one. So I may trim this down a bit, but once I have that on, actually what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to run my T-tape first, then I'm going to put the seal on. And then from there, I'll come in with my tri-clamp fitting and I'll screw it on. Now I'm not using any tools on this. It is mostly hand tight. I will grab this set of pliers to make sure I get that last little crimp on here. Watch your rubber seal down here. The one thing you don't want is it blowing out. So make sure that as you're tightening, it is compressing evenly throughout here. That way you know you have a really good seal into here. And then put on your strain relief. So, and I've got this package came with different sizes for different wire sizes. So I'll pick the proper one for the 12 gauge wire. Wire that all in, put on the connector on the end, and then we should be good to go. That'll be this portion of the still build all complete. All right, I'll quickly show you when I get this done, and I'll hold them both up, and I'll go from there. You don't need to see me put this together. It is quite straightforward, but it gives you a rough idea of what to do. And guys, you know what? Like I said, you could. I've seen guys weld on a bung onto their still and just screw in the element, and they've had exposed wires outside the keg. And you know what? If that's what you want to do, all the power to you. I won't be anywhere near it when you run it. That's for sure. I don't think that's safe myself. If you're gonna build one, it's a little extra cost, not a whole lot. Hey, really, we're not talking a lot. Canada has higher prices as a rule, but you know, $9 for a box, $1 for a cover, yeah, $3 for this. You've already spent all the other money on this, on the sanitary fittings for most of the still. Spend that little bit extra here. It's well worth it. It's safety. So do that. If you like this video, please hit the like for me, please. Try that again. If you like this video, you found some use for it, please hit the like for me. If you really liked it and you think you learned something, hit the subscribe. Follow along on this journey I'm taking. From starting of no knowledge, doing a lot of learning, a lot of time on the internet, and a lot of talking to other people and other distillers, right up to the point of becoming a micro distiller myself. So follow along, hit the subscribe, and travel this journey with me.